I just think it's a really bad car accident.
I texted Bella and I said, Dad said there's a wreck, are you okay? And I didn't get a response.
They hit the guardrail, and then they slipped and then went into the ditch.
There was 15 bags of blood that they had put into her.
I'm like, how did this even happen? How are you just driving down the road and then all of a sudden your car is impaled by a guardrail?
I think somebody in the driver's seat's dead.
It's a question Kathy and Mark Alonso have asked for 2 years. How a device meant to protect drivers killed their only daughter, Isabella Alonso.
As soon as I saw the car, I started crying and I said, this isn't going to be good. I can't even recognize her car.
This is her car after it hit a guardrail off I-75 in Peach County back in March of 2020.
The guardrail was sticking 10 feet up in the air.
It didn't look right to you?
No, it wasn't right, yeah. I mean, the guardrails aren't supposed to look that way.
And here's why. The family learned the guardrail Isabella hit had mixed parts from different manufacturers, parts that, when put together, don't make a functional device. It's called a Frankensteined guardrail because it creates a monster on the road.
It can be deadly.
Mechanical engineer Ben Railsback came up with the term Frankensteined after he investigated this crash in Colorado involving a Frankensteined guardrail.
It just jammed up the system and kinked the guardrail, forcing it back around into the side of her vehicle.
The woman in that crash survived, but Colorado's DOT launched a statewide investigation to find every Frankenstein guardrail on the road. Georgia's DOT did not do the same after Isabella's death. GDOT would not go on camera, but told us, quote, "We do not believe this reflects a widespread issue." However, our investigation uncovered the Frankenstein guardrail Isabella hit wasn't the only one on Georgia roads. We found at least 3 more. One off I-75 in Henry County, another off I-75 in Dalton, and a third on 285.
How high of a priority do you think this should be for GDOT?
They should be paying attention to any of those life-altering situations like that.
But GDOT is asking drivers to report these guardrails if they see them.
How is the average person able to spot a Frankenstein guardrail?
I would say that the average person probably can't.
You know, after it's been hit, you know, I can tell the difference between one that worked and the one that she hit that didn't work.
But before they're hit, they all look the same.
They all look the same, right?
The Alonsos say GDOT shouldn't wait for someone else to spot these rails when the potential for injury is this catastrophic.
What the doctor said, that the guardrail had separated her spine from her pelvis.
Isabella stayed alive just long enough for her parents to say goodbye.
But we asked her a question, she shook her head.
What did you ask her?
I asked her, "Do you see Jesus?" And she shook her head. And I said, "Well, go with Jesus and we'll see you soon." And then
She was gone.
Then, yeah, we held her hand while she passed away. This shouldn't happen to our daughter, and I don't want it to happen to anybody else's child.
Our investigation uncovered Frankensteined guardrails on our roads. They're called that because they're essentially monsters made with mismatched parts that can pierce through vehicles when hit. Thanks to our investigation, the state's working right now to find and remove them.
Do you ever notice the guardrails you pass by on your way to work, to school, or home? Chances are you don't give them a second look, but Kathy and Mark Alonso do.
How are you just driving down the road and then all of a sudden your car is impaled by a guardrail?
Their daughter, Isabella, died after she crashed into a Frankensteined guardrail on I-75 in Peach County. The rail speared through her car because it was improperly installed with parts from different manufacturers. During our investigation in April, we found at least 3 more Frankenstein guardrails in Georgia. We told GDOT, which said, quote, "We do not believe this reflects a widespread issue." But then we uncovered more with the help of a road safety advocate.
It's got to be 2 or 3 dozen. And I have not covered but a fraction of the roads in Georgia.
Steve Eimer's daughter, Hannah, died after a guardrail speared her car in a crash. Now he dedicates his life to bringing attention to road hazards like Frankensteined rails. What does that say to you when you realize in just the roads you've traveled, you found that many Frankenstein guardrails?
That there's probably hundreds.
As dangerous as these guardrails are, spotting them is tough for the average person.
Here's an example. Take a look at this guardrail off I-20 East in Rockdale County and this guardrail off I-20 West in DeKalb County. One of these guardrails is Frankensteined. Can you tell which one? Take a close look. If you said this guardrail, you're right. In fact, Eimer says it's similar to the guardrail that Isabella Alonso hit.
After it's been hit, I can tell the difference between the one that worked and the one that she hit that didn't work.
But before they're hit, they all look the same.
They all look the same, right?
Guardrail experts can tell the difference. And after our investigation, GDOT announced a statewide inspection of every guardrail. It declined to comment on camera for this story, but says the inspection is underway. It won't bring back Isabella Alonso, but it may spare other families from experiencing the same pain.
It's just devastating. We lost a child. Her brothers lost a sister. Her grandparents, her friends. People really loved her.
The inspection is slated to end this summer. It's not just Frankenstein guardrails that the state's looking for. The inspection will look for any unsafe or improperly installed guardrails. We asked GDOT to let us come along so we could show you the process. It declined.